to get right into questions with our pro, Wade Cordell. So we appreciate all of you being here. If you were part of our presentation a little while ago, we apologize for the technical errors with my power going and people taking over without the slide presentation, but we certainly appreciate all of you who stuck it out, and especially Wade for taking leadership of that meeting, and the others who spoke. I wasn't on to see who stepped up and helped out, so thank you. Let's get our screen shared and we'll begin. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and we don't want to hold anyone up from the information. Business capital training, here we go. All right. Morgan or Wade, I see you on screen. Can you see my slide? It says business capital training. All right, thank you. Beautiful. If it doesn't switch, let me know. But listen, if you're here and you're part of D.A.C, welcome. Thank you. Obviously, some of you might be looking at us for the first time because maybe you were on the business opportunity meeting a few moments ago. We do have redundancy this time. Wade has these slides. In case something happens with me right now, he'll be able to put these slides up on his screen and go in case I lose power. But in the meantime, please keep yourselves muted, everybody, because this is a live presentation. There's a lot of people listening, plus we're recording. But I want to go through some basic information with you tonight, but we're not going to dive as deep because we want more time for you to ask questions. The deep dive is already on our videos. We've got it right in the Agent Resource Center. So if you need more than what you're going to hear tonight, we're going to give you the big picture. We're going to give you enough that you can get after it. But if you feel you need more, you're going to want to go the deeper dive into our business capital video trainings and get with your team leaders that they can go through some stuff with you. But what I want to talk about is I want to go through the big level, the high level stuff, which is number one, I want to make sure we all are understanding that we have a solution for 80% of business owners out there. You do. Most business owners can't get capital and they need it. Do you know that 99% of all businesses are small businesses? Business owners can't get money at their bank. Big businesses can, but 30 million small business owners in America, and they employ almost 60 million people. They're struggling right now to employ people. They want to employ more. There's help wanted signs everywhere. These guys are rock stars. These guys and gals are rock stars, front lines of capitalism, creating employment opportunities. But you know what? It doesn't matter how great they are, how hard they try. 2 out of 3 are going to fail in the first 10 years. They walk away losing money, many of them. And even while they're on their way trying to make it happen, these rock stars, these risk takers, they walk away from guaranteed income. While they're trying to do it, they've got opportunities. Sometimes it's just they run out of working capital. It's like a scuba diver running out of oxygen. And when the SBA, the small government entity, Small Business Administration, interviewed and did a study on business owners, the number one reason they said, not me, they say business owners fail is for lack of working capital. Not bad idea, not bad location, not improperly lit building, no, lack of working capital. Well, isn't that what the banks are for? No, banks are for checking accounts. Banks are for car loans. Banks are for house loans. Banks are for collateral-based loans. If a business owner doesn't have collateral and amazing credit and a lot of profit, they're not getting capital. So this is where we fit. See, banks are great for 20% of the businesses. They can get a credit card. They can get a line of credit. They can get a secured business loan by putting up their business. But most business owners are in a retail strip mall. They don't own the building. They don't have any collateral. What does a restaurant owner have? A couple stoves and some plates and some chairs? They don't have a building they own unless they own that building, which most don't. So they have to get a personal mortgage, et cetera. This is how business owners get capital. What about the 80% who aren't qualified? Well, that's where you come in. That's where we come in. Why? Because all they've got is their friends and family or their savings. That's how business ownership's done until we come along, until the revenue-based working capital business came along, which says this. And I learned about this 6 years ago, and I said, I've got to find a way to get this word out. Because I was that business owner who couldn't get capital unless I put my house up. And didn't matter how profitable our business was, they wanted my house if they were going to give me money, even though I had more money than my house was worth in their bank. It bothered me. So I'm pretty passionate about not beating up on banks, but empowering the business owners the banks can't help. That's where you come in. Don't think for a moment that that restaurant at your corner can get bank capital. They can't. They got friends and family or savings, or you can tell them about David Allen Capital and our Bank Breezy brand. And what happens is we become the cure. We're the vaccine. We're the infusion drip of antibodies. We are the solution. Whether you believe in those things or not, doesn't matter. Do you believe that if you could offer 80% of the businesses in America working capital that can't get it today, that would be an awesome opportunity to make an amazing impact? Because that's what we do. We've got two options, Bank Breezy and D.A.C. As you know, Bank Breezy is up to 25K. It's instant approval, same or next day funding, 100% online Breezy process. D.A.C. gets more than 25K, up to 2 million, no collateral required, simple process, all online, funded in 1 to 3 days, sometimes a little longer if it gets above 150 grand or 250 or 500,000. Sometimes it's same day, sometimes it's next day, sometimes it may take a few days. But once we have everything, Wade and his team go to work and get offers quick. So we're going to go through the sheet. This is our quick reference sheets. Funding quick reference sheet you can get right in your agent resource center, and your welcome letter told you about this as you join the business. This is hard to see, so I'm going to break this down for you. We're going to go through the left side first, Bank Breezy, then the right side, and then we'll be done. Okay, funding amount and terms on Bank Breezy. Same day funding up to 25K. Approval amount is generally about 75% of the monthly revenue they're doing. So these are not collateral-based loans. These are not long-term loans. These are short-term advances. We give them money. They pay it back in under 6 months. So they can't afford to pay back too much, right? So the offer is usually about 75% of what they are doing in revenue, sometimes lower. The business is doing $10,000 a month in revenue. The advance offer might be about $7,500. Okay, and then get more. I've got a ice cream restaurant owner friend of mine. He got $7,500 the first time, $25,000 the second time, and he got $25,000 last Friday. And that's $57,500 he's gotten in the last year, even though they got $7,500 right up front. So they can get more and more and more. Repayment amount is generally 1.19 to 1.49. So what are the rates? No rates. There's a repayment amount. It's real simple. What does it say? They receive $10,000, they're going to pay back 11.9 to 14.9. What's the interest rate? Doesn't matter. They're paying back 11.9 to 14.9. Well, how do you know the difference? Well, how long did it take them to pay it back? They're going to write up the contract as if they're taking it the whole term for 1.49, but if they pay it back in 30 days, they're only paying 1.19. They get $10,000, they're only paying back 11,900 unsecured, and you're paid full commission. It's unbelievable. 1.29. So again, that's a fact. It's called a factor on top of what they get. It's a multiple. So you take the amount they get, multiply it by 1.19. That's the minimum they'll pay back. They pay back in 30 days, all the way up to 1.49. That's the maximum they'll pay back if they keep the entire term. These are 4 to 6 month terms, and it's an automatic daily payment. They don't have to make a monthly payment for the next 6 months. Every day, Monday through Friday. We just had Labor Day. They didn't take a double payment today. It's Monday through Friday, not counting holidays. So there's about 20 banking days a month that they're going to have a daily payment taken out, which totals up to their monthly payment. All right. And then after those 4 months, 6 months, however long the term is, their advance is paid in full. And they didn't have big clunky payments. What are the requirements? They have to have a business checking account, must be in the name of the business, must have an EIN number for the business. The online banking, I'm sorry, I got to move some things here that got to cover. Online banking is set up. A lot of businesses say, not a lot, but some will say, I don't have online banking. Well, call your bank and get it set up, because you can't get advances without online banking turned on. 6+ months in business, 5,000 in monthly sales. The owner has to have a 450 FICO score, minimum NSFs and negative days. If they have more than a few days and they have a real low score, their offer is going to get reduced or decline. Current loan consideration, if they've already got an advance, a daily payment advance, that's going to be considered. They're not going to get approved for as much, or they may not get approved at all because they've already got an advance. All right. So that overviews the Bank Breezy. That gives you how much can they get? 75%, up to 75% of their monthly revenue. How long do they keep it for? 4 to 6 months. How much is it going to cost them? 1.2 to 1.5 times what they get. They get 20,000, they're going to pay back between 24 and 30. Okay, well, that's expensive. Not if they're going to turn that 20,000 into 90,000, right? It's cheap. So it's expensive not to have it because you don't get to make that 90,000 if you don't have the 20. So that gives you the overview. Well, I don't have a business checking account. Am I going to get approved? No, don't even apply. Well, I don't have online banking set up. Get it set up. I'm not doing 5,000 a month. Then don't apply. Well, what if I'm doing 4? What does it say the minimum is? 5. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now let's look at David Allen Capital. This is for more than 25,000. What's the funding amount? Well, they can get up to $2 million in funding, right? I think the biggest approval we've ever gotten is 1.2. So it's not likely that we're going to get large ones, but we can. All right. Approximately, they're going to get approved for 1 to 2 times their monthly revenue. So this is higher, right? It's a little bit higher. Obviously, they're doing a lot more revenue too. So imagine if they're doing 50,000 a monthly revenue, maybe they'll get approved for 50 to 100,000. Okay. The terms are a little longer. That's why they can get approved for more, because they can carry it out longer. Repayment amounts still the same, 1.19 to 1.49. So example, if they got 60,000, they're going to pay back between 72 and 89. Well, Dave, if I got 60,000, I got to pay back 89. Boy, that's expensive. Yeah, unless that 60,000 is going to be turned into 600,000, right? It could be a second location. I talked about that ice cream restaurant. They've gotten 57,500 to open a second location. Their sales are almost triple when they met us. So that money has been very good for them because they got a second location. They're doing much, and they built shake machines and coffee machines and all kinds of other things to generate more revenue and be more relevant. That's what business owners do. They're not going to buy a TV to watch the Super Bowl. They're not running up credit card debt. They're putting the business to work. They're putting their money to work. That's why it's called working capital. All right. Repayment amount, as I talked about. Well, Dave, that's too expensive. Again, depends on the opportunity. If the opportunity benefit of that is more than the cost, you move forward. If the opportunity is not real good, then the cost is very expensive. Don't take the money. The good news is we go find the offer for free. 4 to 24 month terms, automatic daily payment the same way. Again, all these details are on your funding reference sheet. What are the requirements here? Same thing, business checking account, online banking setup. You only need to be in business 4 months now, but you got to be doing a lot more revenue. 20,000 per month revenue minimum. Owner has a 500 FICO score instead of just a 450. Minimum NSFs, again, if you got any more than, even if you have 2 or 3, it's going to hurt you. But if you have more than 5, you're not going to get approved. Okay. Well, Dave, they're doing 200,000 a month in sales. Yeah, but they're bouncing a bunch of checks. They're not getting approved. It's really simple. Well, that's why they need the money. Well, I'm sorry, we're not the source. We have requirements. Well, but if the requirements are hit, then say but. But if the requirements aren't hit, they're not going to get approved. Current loan consideration or advance consideration, same thing. If they've already got a daily payment advance, it's going to lower the amount they can get approved for. Again, this is in your agent resource center. Everything I just went through with you, I would print that off. I'd have it in front of you so you can ask and answer questions. All right. A couple miscellaneous things with Bank Breezy. We get these questions all the time. What happens if someone's in that automated application sequence and they time out? Either their power goes or their phone goes. It's real simple. They're going to get a link sent to their phone and their email to continue the application. Okay, so if they time out and they call you, just say, hey, look at your phone. You've got a text and you've got an email. Go in there and check. All right, and you can continue. They don't need to start a new application. They're going to get a duplicate message. If they're kicked out to a manual process, sometimes they are because there's underwriting criteria. Sometimes they're going to say, hey, we need you to get on the phone with us or something, and they'll take it online. It's rare, but it can happen. If the client gets a duplicate message, they've already applied with our partner, Biddy Advance, at some point in the past. If they get a duplicate message, we've been able to resolve most of those where you're not getting it as much. They've got a system now that can allow them to continue many times. But if they get a duplicate or they're stuck or they're calling you something and they say they don't got that text, or they don't have that text or that email, tell them, not you, tell them to email apply@BiddyAdvance. You can tell them to CC you. That way, you know they did it. That's what I tell people. Email apply@BiddyAdvance and CC me. That way, I can help you as well. But that way, you know they've done it. But in that email to apply@BiddyAdvance, they need to mention their company name, their personal name, their mobile number, and their email, and their EIN number. If they mention all that, BiddyAdvance, who's got thousands of applications, will be able to find that file quickly. Now, keep in mind, we've given them over 100,000 applications. They've got millions of applications in their lifetime. So you can say, well, they should be able to find Mary's Donuts quick. They might have 10 Mary's Donuts applications, and they might have Mary's Boutique and Mary's this and Mary's that and Mary's this. And what's the legal name? There could be 7 that sound the same. So it slows them down. That's why you want them to email everything in that apply@BiddyAdvance email and list everything they can. All right. And then if once they fund, not once they get approval, that doesn't mean they're funded. Not once they get contract signed, that doesn't mean they're funded. There's one final stage of underwriting after they sign the contract. It's a very expensive portion that Biddy has to pay for. And they wait until someone signs the contracts to do that final personal background check. So just because they sign the contracts does not mean they're funded. I get people all the time, why didn't they get my commission email? Well, because it didn't fund yet. Or they've signed the documents and Biddy still needs to talk to them. There's something discovered. So until you get the funded message,
Okay, I guess David got frozen up there. All right, guys, hold on one second. I am going to finish this for him until he gets back on. Morgan, you can hear me, right?
I can, yes.
All right. What David was telling you guys was that, you know, timeouts happen a lot because people pause, they stop, they may have a customer walk in, and those timeouts are going to happen. But what you need to know is that they do not need to start a new application because it's going to become a duplicate. As a matter of fact, they're going to immediately, I promise you, people are on it. They're going to get emails, they're going to get phone calls, they're going to get text. We are trying to get these people back on. And when someone says that they hadn't heard from anyone, it's because they haven't answered emails, text, or phone calls. If kicked out to manual process, Biddy reaches out with the client, and they can get this stuff done very, very, very quickly. If the client is stuck, the fastest answers for the client will always be not for you as an agent to send in, but for the client themselves to email to apply@BiddyAdvance.com, apply@BiddyAdvance.com, and that moves through the process very, very quickly. I promise you that. If you have any questions that you need to know as an agent, you certainly can call Biddy Advance support at support at, I'm not totally sure. I think it's Biddy, what is it? Bank Breezy support at BiddyAdvance.com. That's what it is. So we'll see if you have any questions in a few minutes on any of this. But as David was saying on the funded email, you will get a funded email. As a matter of fact, a couple of you got some today, and you sent me text and emails and a woohoo and all that. It's exciting when you get that. I just want to say one thing about the funded email. We pay daily with all Bank Breezy deals. So if you got a funded email today, you're gonna get paid the following day. So if it gets funded today, you're gonna get your funded email the next day or the same day. And the following day is when the money, so but we automatically pay every single day. Now on the David Allen Capital side of things, just so you know, some of our lender partners pay us in a week. Some pay us in 24 hours. Some pay us in 36 hours, 48 hours. It just depends on the size of the deal and which of the funders that we are using. Just remember, the reason that it takes longer is a lot of the larger deals are weekly payment deals. So they want the first weekly payment to have cleared or at least been processed. And when that happens, and it automatically releases and triggers the commission to us, and we pay you the same day that we get the commission. So who do you approach? Guys, nothing beats warm market. That is our number one way to get, and that's how we get most of the larger deals is with the warm market. So these are people that you know, your family, your friends, businesses that you go in all the time and you spend your hard-earned money. You need to work that market harder than any other market that's out there. Which is the warm market business owners. But also, you know, a lot of people that know a lot of people, and you want to put you. That's why I'm probably the most tenacious about just almost demanding people that get into our teams to get the drop cards, because you never know when you're going to be in front of someone. My wife carries them all the time. That's why she gets so many fundings every year. She gets more fundings than I do because she passes up drop cards every single place that she goes. You want to canvas as a customer with these drop cards. You want to, when you're eating at a restaurant, heck, you have a right to you're spending your money with them. You have a right to at least introduce yourself, and it's a smart thing to do, and let them know that you enjoyed the meal. But hey, listen, if they ever are in need of any kind of capital, you want to be their capital agent. And believe me, they're going to want 4 out of 10 businesses need capital. 6, and I would say 6 or 8 out of 10 need today. Is there somebody on?
Oh, sorry, Wade.
Hey, why don't you take over from here, buddy?
All right. Well, if you want to keep using the slides, I was still talking. So Sharon, thanks for letting me know I froze because my power didn't go. So something must happen with the internet. So thanks for taking over, Wade. Well, so who to approach, as Wade mentioned, warm market, obviously start there, get the word out, you're launching your business. But if you can hit the next slide, Wade, canvas as a customer, canvas an area, and then social posts is very successful. Some of you are good at that. And then you got ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. And then one thing I wanted to talk about, which is lead services. Okay, some people have tried leads. We've tried leads. We've been trying leads for 6 years. Okay, and we've got an announcement to make tonight that is very important because we're moving forward. We believe at this point, there's no indication that these are not a great source. We've got a great partnership that we believe can be a good long-term partnership to help generate leads on your behalf. I will say this: number 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 cost you no money except the cost of your drop cards, $120. That's it. And this is where I've gotten most of my fundings. Wade's gotten most of his fundings. My wife, everyone who gets started and does well, Joyce, Cordell, we're teaching what works best. Remember, we get a percentage of everyone's income. We don't get a percentage of anything that you buy, leads, advertisements. Google doesn't pay us on pay-per-clicks. We're not agents getting a piece. So we don't promote things just to promote them. We only promote things where we believe that help you get more funding. And we don't I've spent thousands on advertising. I've spent thousands on leads. Wade has as well. You don't hear us promoting them strong because I've gone 6 months buying ads without a funding. And that costs a lot of money. I'm willing to endure that because over the course of a year, it generally is worth it. But if you've only got 2 months worth of advertising money, it may not be worth it for you, right? You may lose money. So we don't promote things where you can lose money until we vetted them out and feel like, okay, this is what it's going to take to make money. Well, we've been working with different lead providers for a long time, and we've got one that we're now working on a lead program for all of you because the leads are working. And what are leads? So this is what we mean by leads. There's a few different sources of leads out there. Leads are where you pay someone to find people who are interested in capital. But there's some exclusive leads where these are people looking for capital and you're the only one who's going to be notified. Those are expensive. But are they looking for revenue-based capital, or are they looking for a PPP loan, or are they looking for a collateralized real estate loan? So some of these leads are like, you get all these names who want capital and they tell you, quit calling me. I'm not interested in a revenue-based capital. I want a real estate mortgage, So the lead source, you're paying whether they're a good source or not. And then you've got lead lists where you could buy a list of email addresses and phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. Not saying they don't work, but I've lost a lot of money trying to find one that does work, right? So we don't promote them. You may be someone who does postcards really well. Well, great, then do postcards. I'm talking mailing them, do them. But we don't teach it until we've proven it's profitable in a manner that we can teach all of you. The only reason we're not going into details right now is because we don't have enough leads to support every agent in D.A.C. right now. We're building up to do that, but right now if we launch and said anyone who wants leads, we've got good quality leads for you, we don't know that we can really deliver that. Okay, that's just factual, because the more people who have access to this pool of leads, the less quality they become, because you can only generate so many, right? There's someone generating these leads. But we're working on a program that we think is, like as an example, we could probably generate 200 leads a week right now. Is that right, Wade? About 200 a week?
Of the live transfers, right?
Live transfers. These are people who are on the phone, who want funding right now, good quality. They already meet all the requirements. They meet all your funding requirements. And that doesn't mean, some of them still want collateral-based funding. I mean, they don't sell the program for us, but they find candidates who are looking for capital now. But we could probably generate 200 of those a week right now. But that's costly. It's costly. It would cost you about $45. Is it about $45 a lead, Wade? Is that right?
No, that's what they are on the marketplace, $45 to $60. Ours is going to be somewhere around the $30 to $35 range.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're negotiating with this company. They're charging 40 to 45 in the market. We're negotiating a discounted rate because we're saying we can bring a lot of people, so you don't have to sell people on needing leads anymore. We can bring a lot of business your way if your leads remain this good. But we don't want them to start depreciating, or we'll shut it down like this. We'll say, stop buying them, just like we do now on things, right? So that's what we're working on. But 200, if we said 200 right now, and you say, I want 20 of them, I want 20 of them, I want 20, they're gone. And now how do we choose? So we don't know the level of interest. They're going to be costly. If you bought 10 leads as an example, 35, it's $350. You got to commit up front. And you get those 10 calls, and if they don't fund, you're out $350. Right? And if they get one bank breezy at 10,000 and you make 6% on, you make 600, well, it's worth it. But you're talking to 10 people. You got to be ready to talk to them right now when they're live, they're on. You can't go out and send it to my voicemail because they're gone. They're going to go somewhere else, right? You need to take that live transfer and talk. So not everyone can do that. Not everyone has the environment to do that or the money to do that. So we understand that. There's a lot of people doing real well with social posts right now. They've built a social following and they've built experience and they know how to do it, and they're doing real well, doing 5-6 deals a month or a week. Some are doing just doing social posts. They know how to do that. Okay. But someone's got a big following already. That's not, it's like saying someone who owns a radio show and they're getting 20 clients a month, everyone can do it. No, if you don't own a radio show, you probably can't use radio ads to get 20 clients a month, right? So there's certain people who've built a niche in social, they're going to do better than I am in social. There's others who've built a niche using how to use the phone. They don't have any problem at all cold calling people. They know how to do it, so it's not cold at all. It's care calling. They're very good at it. They love it. They thrive on it, and they do very well. There's going to be others who get real good at leads and are willing to invest the money. There's people right now investing $500 a week on ads on Google and doing well, making money. But they know how to do it. There's others investing $200 a week and losing all $200. They're getting a bunch of applications that don't qualify. The wrong people are applying. You guys still got to pay for every one of those clicks. So not everyone's going to be a fit for this. So what I'm saying is, before we go to the Q&A with Wade, we're just letting you know that we've got something. We're finding by working them ourselves, they're high quality compared to anything else we've done. That doesn't mean you're going to get one funding out of 10. Doesn't. Not immediately. You're going to get 10 quality people where maybe 6 of them fit our category, want our type funding, and maybe, well, we don't want to give numbers. I mean, that's the reality of it is you may find 3 out of 3 get funding, and you may find it's 3 out of 25. So you got to do some math and say, it depends on how good you are too. I mean, you can be on the phone and blow it, not know how to talk to them quickly. They may be on and off in 7 seconds. So, we're saying this is probably going to be for our agents who have got more experience. Otherwise, it's probably not a good investment for you, right? So if you've not already talked to a bunch of business owners, I wouldn't spend money to talk to them. Go talk to people for free. Go have some live conversations at that local diner that you eat at. Go meet some business owners. Just go in and say, hey, you the owner? Just start talking to them the way I did and the way he did. And everyone does. You get good by participating. Don't spend $35 a lead to learn how to talk to business owners. Go do it for free. And then once you got it down where you're like, it doesn't matter the question that comes up, you're like, yeah, I answer it like this and I handle it like this and I'm comfortable with it like this. Then participate if we have this still live. So if you want to participate in our leads, which would involve an investment, it would probably be an investment of 10 leads a month minimum. So that'd be about a $300 and $350 investment, somewhere in there. We wanted to keep it like at $250 to participate. 250 to 350, somewhere in there. So if you're saying, hey, I'd invest that kind of money and I'd be available for standby leads, on live on call leads, I'd be interested in that. Then please email me directly. I'm going to keep a list of all these people and we're going to have a follow-up conversation. We don't know the demand yet. There's only 3 of you email me. Well, those 3, we're ready to go with you 3 right now. But if there's 300, well, then we got to figure out how do we deal with the 300? Who do we decide to do it with? And I don't like putting something in place where some of you go, it's unfair that I don't. So I will just continue to say, this week, we've been working the number 7. We've still done more funding with number 1, 2, and 3, personally. Not paying a dime for leads. Okay, so I don't think anything you're going to pay for can outproduce 1 through 4. I don't think there's a thing out there. Something about a personal relationship, and it doesn't matter how good a lead is, they're not as good as warm market referrals. Not even close. So don't say, oh, if I can't do the leads, I can't do this. You're wrong. In fact, don't think for a moment that the leads you're going to be successful with them. Think you may, but don't assume you will. You will be successful 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You will be successful with those if you focus on those. So this is why I'm reluctant. Wade knows we've known these leads are good for 3-4 weeks, but I've been reluctant to pull the trigger on promoting them because of the negative side effect of somebody going, oh, if I don't have good leads, I can't do this. And you're wrong. You're flat out wrong. So if you think that thought, don't fall victim to it. Go out there and prove number one is the best way. Forming it when you know you're in business capital. So with that, just email me, david@davidallencapital.com, and the subject line put leads, and then I'll know you're interested. We're going to have a follow-up for those who are interested, and I will be reaching out to those, and Wade and I will, as we drill down further with our partner. All right. And we may determine 3 weeks from now, as we require more and more, that they can't keep up with the demand just from us. So we're still a trial. It'll always be a beta test until it's been proven out with larger numbers. All right. But in the short time we've seen this, we've not experienced any like this. We've tried exclusive leads. We've tried non-exclusive leads. We've tried email leads. We've tried appointments. We've tried live transfers. We've tried where they set an appointment and we get on that appointment with them. We've tried a bunch of different ways. And the live transfer is the most successful. And we've even got some other ways where we can, contract someone to be our dedicated lead finder for our fixed cost per week. So there's other things that can be done that cost a lot more, obviously. But if they only get one lead, they only get one lead. But if they get 50, they get 50 for that same price. So there's other things we're working on with them. They've been in this space a long time. They love what we do, and they'd like to focus on building out our front end lead creation team. So, Wade, is there anything you wanted to add to that, or anything we've talked about tonight? I don't know when I went, froze before we go into the Ask the Pro.
Well, one last thing I'll say about these live transfers is that we're also working on the live transfers for two different categories: 15,000 and below, 15,000 and above. So of course, the 15 below will be less expensive. Those are the Bank Breezy ones, and I'm just so pleased with them. But on the same token, you got to be a pro. You got to know how to say it, and you got to be able to overcome the simple objections that we've been teaching you for so long about rates and that sort of thing. And we've got some real pros that work for us. I can name 4 or 5 off the top of my head that's on here tonight that could probably tear these things up. But I'm glad that you're and I'm more of getting into the race car. Let's take off and make this thing work. And you're like, yeah, let's make sure that if it works, we can turn all these curves without hitting the wall. So I get it. I'm gonna stop sharing then, so that we can do.
Yes.
Yep.
Go to Q&A.
Yep.
All right. Beautiful. Well, then we'll go to. So what we're going to do now? We've got a couple hands up already. We're playing Ask the Pro. So this, I want you to look at this. Wade Cordell is your personal enroller. Here all the time. I don't have a good enroller. If I had a good enroller, okay. Well, we do live calls twice a week where we are your enroller and say, anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions? So there's no longer an excuse, a valid excuse if you don't have a good enroller. You don't need a good enroller. You've got the corporate team. Now you want to be a good enroller, but you can be a great enroller and the people in your team will still do nothing. And you can have a horrible enroller. I see it every day. People have the enroller's gone and they're rocking, kicking out numbers without an enroller. So let's not create excuses. Wade Cordell is your enroller today. What questions have you got for him about funding, getting clients, talking to clients, overcoming questions? What do you got? But let's go first to Eric B. Eric B's got his hand up and he's had it up for a while. What question have you got, Eric?
Hi, David. How's it going?
Fabulous.
Hey, the question I have is actually, I had an enrollee today. He actually enrolled with Bank Breezy last year, August of last year. But he actually emailed me his decline letter. He was declined for revenue purposes. And I asked him, like, well, why were you declined? And he said he didn't know. And I asked him what his revenue was last year. And he said it was $20,000 a month. He owns his name is Jimmy, and he owns a trucking logistics company. And he applied today. And he says, because he says his revenue has increased to $40,000 a month. So I encouraged him to apply again. And I saw the letter, and I just wanted to find out, like, why did he get declined? Now, also to keep in mind that he did actually request an exorbitant amount of money on the D.A.C side. So I was thinking that might be what it is. He might have over requested money that he wasn't suitable for with his that was actually, you know, sustainable by his income.
Mhm. Go
So
ahead,
I just
Wade.
wanted
Yeah,
I just wanted to
we
find out
understand.
what reasons he might have gotten declined.
Okay, and you said that he applied last year, so he didn't apply, he must have applied, he didn't apply with Bank Breezy last year, he applied with David Allen Capital, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the skinny of a lot of things happening in the trucking industry, especially. A lot of these trucking companies have multiple fundings already. That could be one reason, because if you're doing 40,000 a month, let's say, but you're paying out $300 to $600 a day for funding, then they're not going to give it based on 40,000. They're going to give you funding based on what taking away what you're already paying, and then they look at what that leaves you as far as what you actually can afford. Plus, in the trucking industry, getting someone to go 3 and 4 deep on fundings just don't happen. Third and fourth positions, because trucking companies come and go very quickly. The person could have had something on his background that you don't know about. That happens an awful lot in the trucking industry, where they may have defaulted in the past. You don't know about that. That could have been something else. But I tell you, I'm going to give you a great opportunity to email me at wade@davidallencapital.com in the morning about this person. I think I already know who it is, but if you'll send that to me, I promise you I will be able to get you an answer very quickly of what transpired with that that particular client.
Okay. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
buddy. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you, Eric. Great question. All right, let's go to Pam Simpson. What question have you got for Wade, Pam?
Hello. I have two questions, and I'm brand new. I'm just joined last week, still getting all kinds of fun things started. I don't even have drop cards yet. However, in listening to all the training, one question would be, if someone applies and they get their one offer and they reject it, can they apply again next week and see if a similar offer comes along? Because I know the one offer, it's gone if they reject it. But if they decided, talking with their wives or whatever else, and they said, you know, we should have applied, could they apply again after they reject it?
Well, first of all, if they reject an offer and they decide they want that offer, they can apply right away again for that same offer at any time. It doesn't matter. But you're saying they got one offer. Well, they got one offer, but they may have gotten 5 offers, but that was the best of those 5 offers that we presented to them. So we don't present them 5 lesser offers. We give them the very best.
Oh, okay. And that's fine. Let's just say it's one offer. First time they've ever heard of us, where they go through, they apply and they're like, huh, yeah, no, I'm not going to, or how long do they have to accept it or reject it, I guess.
Well, let me say this another way. You only see one offer, but and they would have only gotten one offer, but they may have gotten 5. We just didn't present 5 offers because we give them the very best offer that's available there.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah, and then secondly, if they turned it, there's 2 different parts to this question. Number one, if they had an offer and they turned it down, then they can apply anytime they want to. They can apply next week for that same offer, and I'll get it renewed up to a certain point. They may ask for another bank statement because it's past the threshold of time where you're going to have that other bank statement. And then part 2 is that they may have declined the offer because of a refusal for bank verification. And if that's the case, they'll never be able to get anyone to fund them without bank verification.
Sure. No, and mine's more like if they want to just test the waters and they're like, oh my gosh, we could get 10,000, but they're arguing with whatever and they say, okay, we're going to reject. I don't know what happens from the standpoint of a business owner. Okay, I go into Bank Breezy, I see all this. Oh, it's great, but wife says no, we better reject it. But you're implying there's a whole lot more communication that goes on, that they could say, hey, next week, we rejected that offer, but we want to come back. We actually want to see if we can still get that offer. And they would be communicating with not me, but somebody else in this DAC world,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, that
So-
makes more sense. They'll have someone to communicate and say, we really do want that offer, but it wouldn't be me personally. And I wouldn't say, hey, go back on to Bank Breezy and try again.
Well, let me tell you what happens. This happens way more than you think. They say, well, I'm gonna go look somewhere else and see if I can find it. And I cannot count there's so many times that they've come back and said, you know what, I can't find it anywhere else. And if at this price, and they come back to us because I'm telling you, 90% of the time, our offers are going to be the best offer they can find. Every once
Awesome.
in a while, something slips through.
Let me just add one more thing for clarification, Pam. If it's a Bank Breezy application and offer, then it is only one offer because Bank Breezy is our partner with Biddy. And
Okay.
they can still go back and try to, say, hey, I want to review that offer again. They may need to link their banks again. But what Wade's talking about is when you apply through the D.A.C portal, that's when they're going to get multiple offers. So, but Wade, there has been cases, and I think it's important that we share this. There has been times when you've had someone go to work and they've spent 3-4 days, looking at backgrounds and pulling documents to get an offer. And if the client doesn't take it, and they come back and say, I want to consider that offer again. Sometimes the providers don't want to do the underwriting again. Is that true?
That is true.
On the larger deals?
That is true on some of the larger deals, but in most cases, underwriters are really interesting people, and I'm starting to really learn their personalities. And that's another key to why David Allen Capital is so important, is that we have personal relationships with these underwriters. Ellen mentioned we had 50 contracts. Yeah, but there's really about 17 lenders that we actually put the majority of the business through, and we know these underwriters by name. They know us by name. So some of those underwriters are going to be very skeptical about, hey, I got to go spend money again with another background. Because things could have happened between now and then. I got to go research all these UCC filings and this kind of stuff. And we don't want to spend the money anymore. Go somewhere else. They should have taken it in the first place. That doesn't happen often, but it can happen.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you both. That answers more than I even wanted to know, but wonderfully awesome. I really appreciate that. The second question, slightly simpler, I think. Last week, probably even before I joined, I was able to watch a YouTube video of one of your week's meetings. And you said something about you're not doing equipment financing anymore. And if that's true, could you please take it off the David Allen Capital website? Because this little tiny place I live that I'm brand new to, so it'll be kind of fun finding warm people. They would love equipment, I bet. So I'd like to not even tempt them. Is that going to go off our David Allen Capital main page?
It already is actually. It says you can use the working capital to buy equipment, but it doesn't call it equipment financing. The reason we've not pulled it just yet is this all went down in the last 2 weeks, and there's some people had ads running already, and they had to run out their ad time. They're promoting it as equipment financing. So we'll probably within the next probably 1 to 2 months, you won't even see equipment financing mentioned on our website. But for right now, it still says get working capital to buy your equipment. It's kind of like a use of funds more than.
I'm just on the very, very first page where it says that my website direct goes to. When the big banks can't help, we can. Incredibly fast business capital, equipment financing, and payment processing. And that's the page they're gonna see if they go to my website.
I see that, and as I mentioned, we're going to keep that at least for another month or two because there's who have ads running to that, they've spent budgets. So, but if you click on equipment financing, you see what it says. It says,
I
you
don't
can-
even see where I could click on it, so that's a good thing.
yeah, but if you did, you would see that it says use working capital. Use our working capital to buy your equipment. So it just promotes our working
Okay.
capital. And they apply for working capital. So,
And
yeah.
that's there, if anybody does ask, that's there because it has been and it's gone away. And you can't, and I'll just explain what we're doing now. There was old advertising out there and we don't want to mess people up. But
Yeah.
it's no longer available for that purpose. Okay, thank you very much. In
Thank
both
you.
questions, you guys are awesome. I really, really am thrilled that I'm going to be part of something really cool.
Thank you, and welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Ellen Wynn, you're next. You got to unmute yourself, Ellen. There you
There we
go.
go. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Welcome to the team, Pam, you're a part of a great family here as part of my organization, and Michael Dew and Eric Johnson and Chris. So you have joined the right team here. We're glad to have you. Hey, I wanted to ask a question. I had a conversation with a business owner today who has an interesting portfolio and he's wanting funding. He is a trucker. He's been in business for 5 years. And he's had a business account with Bank of America for several years, but he just closed it last month. He does have his last 3 months bank statements. So he has that to show us, but he doesn't have an active bank account that would qualify for the bank connection with Biddy Advance. So I'll tell you what I did, and you can tell me if I did wrong or what would happen here. Since he didn't have the bank account to connect, I suggested that he go through the David Allen Capital application page where he can upload that June, July, August bank statements and his other documents. And then as soon as I see that come through, I was going to send in a notice and saying, hey, he's only really looking for 5,000, even though he qualifies for the higher funding. I was going to head it off so that you guys can pass that information along to Biddy, because I know that's where that would have to go through. Was there an easier way to handle that? Or, oh, look, another piece of this, he's now using he has a factoring company that he sends his invoices to, and they're making deposits into his new business account. So a lot of stuff going on there with that, Wade.
Yeah, that's really a pretty easy answer because he did open another business bank account, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so what he's going to have to do is provide the last 3 months of bank statements with the other, and he will have to provide probably what they call a decision logic to look at the new bank account, or a month to date to look at it. But they're going to definitely need to have a voided check or a bank letter for the new account as well. And most underwriters get very nervous when someone applies for funding and they just change bank accounts. And the reason is that is one of the biggest signs that they have where red flags come up, that there's there could be fraud. They could have taken money or someone else, and so they'll go look at those last 3 to make sure there wasn't money being taken out on a daily basis. I'm not talking about yours in particular. I'm just talking about in general. So they look at it and saying, okay, they have money taken out for another lender, that competitor, and then they're going to look at that new account to make sure that money's being taken out in that as well, so they didn't default and haven't given the other lending company time to put a UCC filing against them. So there's a lot going through the mind. Every time I see that, I say, okay, so what you're doing is really smart. I try to approach this up front before they even have that thought pattern of, let me go find what's wrong here. I know that a lot of bank accounts are compromised. A lot of them are, but getting money and the timing is just not great. But yeah, what you're saying, I mean, if I had a guy, instead of sending him to Bank Breezy, I would send that through D.A.C. to me, let me know all that stuff, and I can head this off and get it all taken care of in an hour or two.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I did. And I asked him those questions. You know, he said he had just switched bank accounts. So I verified he no longer has online access to the Bank of America account because he did close it, but he waited until he got his monthly statement in and out the month of August. So, all right, we're on the right path.
Did he change banks as well?
Yeah, he's in a different bank. Right. He changed banks from Bank of America.
Yeah, it would be no big deal if he had not changed banks. But now that he's changed banks, they're going to want to look. David, you got anything you want to say about any of this?
Yeah, I would just say that what you said, they're going to look at the daily payments, make sure there's no money being taken out of the old one, as long as he didn't get money. But I'll give an example. We had a $120,000 client last month get money and literally closed his account 2 days after he got the money. And that's how now he's opened a new bank somewhere else. And so that happens in our industry. Now keep this in mind. I was just talking to one of my personally enrolled agents about a client of his that got declined, and this can help everyone. I have never heard of someone, except from some of our old providers who we stopped doing business with, where they would go after a business who was paying their payment a little less or couldn't afford their full payment. I've never heard of one of our providers going, "Oh, you can't afford the 172 you committed to? We're shutting you down. We're coming after you." Never. They always, every time. Have you ever heard, Wade? They always will say, "We'll give you a pause. We'll let you take a breath for a week. We'll lower your payment from 170 to 130. Let us see your bank statements. Let me see your sales. Okay, you're having issues. We'll lower it for you. We're not trying to put you out of business." I've never seen one go, "We're collecting, we're coming after you. Where's your house?" Except a couple providers we no longer do business with. You were missed a few payments. They were throwing fees up, this and that. We don't deal with those people anymore. We've learned that was 5 years ago. But the reason I say that is because our poor providers, though, many times a business owner will get the cash and flip the switch. Or 2 weeks in or 2 months, they can't afford it. They'll close their account. If you ever have a client who's struggling, tell them to contact the provider, let them know they're struggling. Don't close the account. If they close the account, they will never get funding in our space again. They'll be assumed to be a fraudulent person. Even maybe they don't know how they're going to pay their payroll and this payment, so they open a new account to make payroll. No, they just got to call the provider and have a heart-to-heart conversation. And it's amazing how good our providers are. They're going to they want to help them. They don't want to collect. So I know that's a little different, Ellen, than what you asked, but that's why they're so sensitive about account changes, because that's the only way they're really hurt is by people who change the accounts, close them and switch elsewhere. That's all I got to add to that, Wade.
Good question. It wasn't as complicated as I thought she was going to give me a really, really tough one, because I know she's a Georgia fan. That's how they do stuff.
Well, she already knew the answer, and she already handled it right, which is fabulous. But thanks for bringing it up, Ellen. Anyone else? No other hands are up yet. Anyone else got any questions for Mr. Cordell? You want to know how to get this hat, this D.A.C. hat. I know you can't really see it right now.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Vendetta.
Hi, yes. My name is Star Washington. I actually just joined today, so I have not looked at all my info yet. But are we gonna go over how we get paid or how much we get paid in this Zoom or not this Zoom? I'm gonna find it elsewhere.
Yeah. So what you'll want to do, Star, and sorry, so Vendetta Marketing is the name of your marketing company. Great. Vendetta Marketer, I think it says. What you want to do is, in your welcome letter, there was a list of 3 trainings. Training 1 is getting started right. Training 2 is business capital training, which goes into a lot more detail than we have tonight. We assume everyone's watched that who attends these. So this is more of a big picture and an ask the pro type thing. And then training video 3 is all the comp plan. So you'll want to watch those. You can rewind, watch it again, that type thing. So that's where you'll get your comp plan overview. And then if you have any questions from there, I think they'll probably most be answered. But if you have any questions, you can email support or contact your upline leader at that point.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
And David, Star was not Vendetta.
Yeah. Oh, she wasn't? Okay. Was I talking over someone? I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Vendetta Marketing was not talking.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is a quick question. I wanted you guys to tell me what you think about approaching business owners that own franchises.
Okay. Well, here's what I can tell you about that. Most franchise, depending on what the franchise is, we fund franchises all the time, but it just depends on what their contract says between them, and we don't care what their contract says, but they need to care. Some franchises require you, if you're going to get any kind of money, to get it through them, but most of them don't. So listen, as long as that franchise has authority to borrow money for as a franchisee, not a problem.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
by the way,
My legal name is Christopher Johnson. Vendetta Marketer is the name of my brand. I modeled it after the movie V for Vendetta. In that, the storyline is, he freed the people from the government. So I kind of adopted his character to free people from the BS that's all over the internet about how to make money online. So
I love it.
That's where it came from.
Love it, Chris.
Thanks, man.
Glad to have you, and I'm glad to have your passion.
Appreciate you.
Makers, join our business. We love it. You guys are making an impact. Glad to have you.
Thank
you. And anyone else have a question? Valentino Diaz, is that right, Valentino?
Yes, that's right. How are you? I'm really excited. I'm a business owner. I own a family business, pawn shop for 35 years. And we've had a lot of business people come to our shop asking for loans. And I was approached by one of your associates that was very curious. I've been doing a little research for like the last 30, 60 days before today I signed up, and I'm very encouraged of what I hear. So I wanted to ask the professional, I went ahead and applied for a loan, and I guess I want to test it myself. I got to convince my people on board of my company that this is going to really work. It's a family business. It's been in business for 35 years, and I'm very excited to see the results. And from what I hear today is very refreshing, your whole approach. And I guess that's my question for the professional.
Okay, I didn't really understand exactly what the question was.
The question is that I applied for a loan, and I'm going to go through the process of getting the approval and pay the weekly fee or daily fees, and also offer this to some clients that we have, some very warm clients. Suggestions on how, what do you think? I mean, is that a good strategy?
Oh, I think it's a great strategy. And let me tell you, some of the greatest referrals on the planet are people that are already business owners that have gotten funded and actually gotten renewals several times. I got three on my mind right now that probably refer at least one client every 90 days. So, man, I think that's a great approach. And by the way, if you are, I don't know if you've already applied or not, but if you have applied, I would love for you to email me at wade@davidallencapital.com tonight. So tomorrow morning I can start letting the team look for your information. Not that we're going to be doing something so different on it, but I'd like to follow it through myself all the way and watch it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And I will do that.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, Valentino. Valentino, I stopped your video just because you were pixelating and your voice was breaking up. So Didn't know if it was my computer or yours, so that's why we turned your video off, but glad to have you. We've got someone else who's unmuted at a 734 area code. You got a question there? Oh, they remuted themselves. Anyone else have any, Matt the
Hello?
got a hand up.
Hello?
Matthew.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
And
the 734 is speaking now.
LB.
LB.
Hi, everybody. It's LB. So what I've been doing is I've gotten rid of some projects I was working on because I was doing too much. And I believe in what D.A.C. is doing. So I said I'm going to have to really focus on it more. So what I started doing is I started focusing on building a team. And what I have is like 30 new agents who started last week. And I put together a Facebook page where I can, communicate with them and we can learn together, because I'm telling them I'm basically still new myself. And what I'm telling them is, don't ask us any questions on this Facebook page until you go all through your training, and make sure you go to these live, Q&As. That's the best place to get your answers. And so what I want to know is, because when I signed on, as soon as I got the information, I signed up, because I saw what you were doing and I really appreciated it and resonated with me and how it can help business owners immediately. So what I'm wondering now is, I only have 4 new agents who joined my Facebook page out of those 30. So when people sign up, they go through the onboarding and then they kind of just lag. Is there a follow-up that the company does, or should I do it? Should I call them? I've already emailed them. What should I do to, these new people who have signed up, get them engaged?
I'm going to defer this to David.
All right, Wade. Well, thank you, sir. A great question. And I know this is more focused on funding tonight, so I'll just touch on this quick.
Okay.
But what you want to do is what we train, and we've done this for 20 something years. This is the most effective way we found, even in the social world, even in the video world, even in everything you got. We call it the 3 Ps. From a presentation, purpose of a presentation is to identify a project. Everyone can join, but of the people who join, you want to find out who's serious. So you want to speak to every one of them.
Okay.
If you sign up 5 people, you want to talk to all 5. In email, they may not even see it, but you want to actually have a conversation. They hear your voice, they hear your passion. They go, wow, I got a partner who's serious. So you want to speak to everyone, number one, and you want to find out if they're serious. And we call it sorting. You sort for a partner, someone who's more a little serious. And then if so, you want to do a private game plan with them, which is outlined in our Agent Resource Center. So
Okay.
From there, and I only do a private game plan with someone who's watched all the 3 trainings, just like you're saying before you go to Facebook. You're only going to find about 10% of the people are really serious. You're going to find about 90% or 30% are excited about it and want to do it, but a 10% are really serious. They're going to dig in. This is going to become a priority in their life. A lot of people, this isn't a priority. Sounds like you're making it a priority. So the people who've joined your Facebook page are probably making it a priority just because they're hungry like you. But what the process is from a presentation, they join, you see them in your join list, pick up the phone, welcome them, let them know you're serious. You're looking for serious people to help lead and develop teams. If they say that's me, you say, great, go through the training. Let's do a private game plan. So presentation, sort for projects, do game plans with them. And then it's real simple. Get amped, stay amped, and go DAC 4. And those are really the 7 steps you teach.
Excellent.
3 Ps. From 3 Ps, you find project, get amped, stay amped, go DAC 4. And you just keep repeating that process. You simplify to gamify to multiply. The gamifications are comp plan, getting amped, staying amped, that. So great questions. And you're local to Detroit. So one of these days,
I'm in Farmington.
Yeah, you're in Farmington Hills. Your office is, or you live, I drive by Farmington all the time on the way to where we store our boat in St. Clair Shores. I live in Milford. Our office is in Milford. We can get together. If you got people local, we can even bring them in and do some trainings right here in Detroit. Well, when I say
okay, I'm going to make it happen. Yeah.
Do it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As a matter of fact, the common denominator in the people that have joined the Facebook page are all people. 2 I already knew when I got in, and 2 were people I got through, putting out on social media. Those people are 2 that I did call on the phone immediately, and those are the ones that are in. So what you're saying has already rung true. The other almost 30 people, I've never called them, but I'm gonna have to pick up that phone.
Amen. Yeah, it's obviously people want relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And if they know you're serious, and you can tell, I can tell hearing from you. That's why I offered to meet with you. You can tell in your voice. I hear it in your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love to meet with you anytime, any day, because I'm just trying to replicate what you're doing. I can see it can be done. And if it's not being done, I know it's something on my part that I need to tweak. So I'm trying to, I joined in July. I got sick with COVID for in August. So now I'm trying to get back on and get, recharged up and remember why I was so excited about this before. And when I remember is on these calls. It's when I remember talking to you guys.
Amen. Well, glad to have you. Reach out to me and let's meet up locally.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you. Who else has got a question for Wade? Ask the pro funding question. What do we want to focus with? Who do we got? You could use your virtual hand raise. I can call on you because several of you are unmuting yourself. So please raise your hand and we'll call on you. We already called on Matt DeHane, so let's go to him. Matthew DeHane, you're live, buddy.
Okay, so back to funding. And I just wanted to also let Wade know I want to be on the same camera with you guys, with these fine looking fellas again. But in all seriousness, the thing that I wanted to say, I've got to keep it down. It's got some grandchildren sleeping nearby. I wanted to say that, the whole point about talking to folks and listening to Wade talk about the underwriters, and they are a unique breed, and they take risks, and they're taking all the risk for us, right? For the agents out there in the field. So, when you're approaching a business owner, keep in mind, and you're talking about costs, understand that it's a huge risk for them. They lose everything. They don't stand to gain anything by not working with these people if they should run into trouble. So realize you're dealing with top class 5-star AAA class people that are willing to help a business, but that's why the underwriting criteria is so strict, and it's for that very reason, because they don't want to get stuck holding the bag. They lose everything. I was thinking about the numbers. $100,000, they're risking that principal plus the 40. That's it, and they don't get that principal back for what they say 8 months, a year and a half. So they really have to do a stringent underwriting process in a very short period of time. Looks like my battery's almost about to go. If I'm still on. So I just wanted to say, Wade, it's not a question. I mean, it's for the agents out there that are approaching businesses. Keep in mind that these folks, it's not cheap money, but it's priceless if you've got a good use for it. Just keep that in mind. That's my mantra. It's expensive if you're going to put it away, not put it to good use. But if you got a good use for it, it's priceless. But realize it's a fair deal. You got to go through that process and think about it. Wait a minute. If you think it's expensive, you step back a second. Would you loan that money out there without any guarantee of getting it back? Just would you do that even if you had or you didn't? So that's a good way of approaching the business owners in your mindset. It's got to balance. You find that little happy balance and feeling comfortable. A lot of agents, like I did in the very beginning, I'm just going back to when I started. I didn't feel comfortable about the cost. I didn't. It took me. I had to get my head out of my just get my head on straight and say, wait a minute, is it reasonable? It's reasonable. Believe me, it's very reasonable. So with their default rate, and I understood from when we did that agent of the month thing, David, you're telling me the underwriter was saying our default rate was something less than 5% and the industry's 15. That's amazing. And I think that's why those 17 or more underwriters we probably have, Wade, are sticking with you and with us, and they want to deal with us and they want to give us better offers. So that's why it's growing and growing. I think that's why the momentum's growing probably for the company because of that, because of the ethical approach, and the responsible approach to these businesses. That's all I had to add today. And I'm sorry about your team and the Bulldogs.
Hey, let me say one thing about the underwriters and get away from that team stuff, because I don't want to talk about Clemson right now. Now, next week after we whip on the next team, we'll talk about it. But let me tell you something about the the underwriters, one thing I do and I have done, and I won't mention the name of the clients, of course, but there are opportunities all the time when we could fund with one company and we don't fund with them, because I tell the underwriter, don't fund this deal because I found out information they didn't know about. And I found it out with 3 other underwriters and that have verified the information, and they were going to fund it, but I knew it was a default waiting to happen. Now the agent would probably not be happy about it, but you know, we've got to have a relationship that's honest, and we have to be honest with ourselves on why we're doing this for the long haul. Would you agree with that, David? I know you do.
Amen. Amen. In fact, we'll end with this, Wade, because Wade's already got 15 hours in today, guys. So I appreciate, Wade, you being here to take these questions. We have no more hands up. And I got to say thank you, man. You've been going since early this morning and all afternoon and all evening. And what I love about this guy, folks, is what he just said is an example. You know, we always say integrity is what you do when it's dark, when no one sees what you're doing. And we've been overpaid by our providers and called them and said, hey, you overpaid us. We've had clients where 2 underwriters will say, decline because there's a fraud in this guy's background or Dale's background, and the other underwriter doesn't catch it. Wade will call and say, hey, the other 3 are saying this. You didn't catch that, but you may want to look into it. I don't think they're wrong. Maybe they are, and you know, when you do that, guess what? We've had clients who've committed fraud and they haven't sucked back our commission too, because they're like, you guys had nothing to do with it. We know your character, Wade. We know your team's character. So we've got our own underwriting. Like, there's not a deal that Wade puts before clients that he doesn't first approve in his mind is a good client. Now, you can't see them all, but he can spot fraudulent bank statements like this. He's looked at thousands of them. He can tell, talking to someone on the phone, you know, he doesn't prejudge, but he does have instincts. And those instincts start to ask questions. So we've got such a valuable commodity here. And guess what? Every one of our providers says that. Not just me. They're not going to talk about, we don't talk about Wade enough, the commodity he is to all of your clients, and the extra money he finds, the better deal he finds, the issues that he helps your clients get out of that we never tell you about. He's the first person they call because he's the last one they talk to. When they're having struggles, they're not calling you many times, they're calling him. And so he's doing a lot more than just finding the best offer for your clients or giving them the calm. And he's also, you know, he's willing to present 10 offers and have them be great offers and the client not take them. He's not there to hammer, close, and convince. And like he said, sometimes the agent might go, oh man, I wanted that commission. But that commission will end up being 20 referrals long-term because they go, if I ever do business with anyone, it's going to be that guy who didn't twist my arm. Instead, he educated me. And I found it's not the right deal, or it is the right deal. So we're just so thankful. And by the way, we wouldn't have the Bank Breezy agreement with Biddy if it weren't for Wade. It's Wade's relationship with Biddy Advance that brought them to the table to want to dig further. And so we always wanted to launch that. Wade's relationship with them created the dialogue. We all meet, and here we are. And guess what? There's other providers asking to do the same thing with us right now through Wade. So we've got such a commodity here in this man, and they all know, as he'll tell them, we have such a commodity in all of you, because it's all of your efforts as an agent that gets us out there to get clients. You know, we just started talking about leads today. We're rocking in the applications unlike any other ISO out there. Word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth, more market. They're better quality candidates. Our underwriters love it. Our providers love it. And they'd rather all the business came through D.A.C. than their other avenues, because it's a better book of business. So the bigger we get, the more they love us. It's not the opposite. We're not going to run out of funds. We'll just get a larger portion of their pie going the D.A.C. way. And it's because of all of you, and it's because of this man here, Wade Cordell. So Wade, thank you so much for your time always, and your extra time tonight for covering for me on the 8 o'clock and for handling tonight.
That's very kind, all you said, but I love what I do and I love this company. So thanks, guys, and I will leave it for you to close out.
All right. Well, with that, folks, thanks to all of you. Thanks, Wade. We'll call it a night. We'll see you on today's Tuesday. We'll see you on Fridays live. And again, if you want to be part of those leads, if you want to invest in those, email me, David at davidallencapital.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't email until you go back and watch the recording. Before you do, there's certain requirements. Email me, and then we'll include you in the next follow-up on that. God bless you all. Thanks, Wade. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your